You weren't supposed to come back to this one. There's a reason for that. You feel it the moment you step into the cold, not just the air, but the weight of it, like the night is already holding its breath. You move toward the rail anyway, you always do. The ocean is black, flat, endless, and for a second it almost feels like nothing is wrong, like maybe this time. But then your eyes catch it. Not clearly, not all at once, just something that shouldn't be there. You stop. Not because you're unsure, but because you're not. Your hands tighten against the metal, your body already reacting ahead of you, because you've seen this before. You know exactly what you're looking at, and it's closer than it should be. Closer than it ever should be. Too close. Your breath pulls in sharp. You lean forward, not to check, but because part of you still wants to be wrong. You're not. The shape rises out of the dark, silent, massive, unavoidable, and the thought hits before anything else can. They're not going to turn in time. You don't shout right away. That's the part you always notice when you come back here. Your mouth opens, your body reacts before your voice ever does, but something holds it back for just a fraction too long. And that fraction never changes. You've tried it differently. You've stepped closer sooner, gripped the rail tighter, forced the breath out faster. It never matters. The delay is always there. Small, invisible, final. Your fingers press harder into the metal now, the cold biting through your skin as you lean forward. Eyes fixed, locked in place by something you don't need to identify anymore because you already know what it is. You already know how this line of sight ends, how this distance collapses, how the shape in front of you refuses to move the way your mind expects it to, refuses to shrink, refuses to disappear, and instead begins to rise, slow, silent, and wrong. You feel it in your chest before anything else. That tightness, not panic, not yet, just pressure building under the surface, steady and controlled, like something inside you is already preparing for impact before the world around you is caught up. Behind you, there's movement. You hear it without turning. Boots shifting, a voice somewhere lower on the deck. Routine, casual, untouched by what you're seeing, but it doesn't reach you fully, not anymore, because your attention has narrowed, pulled forward, locked onto the horizon where the dark stops being empty and starts becoming shape. It's clearer now, edges forming, height revealing itself, the kind of size that doesn't register all at once because your mind resists it, tries to scale it down, tries to force it into something smaller, something manageable, but it doesn't fit, and the longer you look, the more that resistance slips. You've seen this exact moment before. You know how long it takes for recognition to turn into action. You know how long it takes for someone to understand what they're actually looking at, and you know it's already taking too long. Your breath comes in sharper this time, shorter, your chest tightening as your weight shifts forward, your grip adjusting without thought, your entire body leaning into the moment, as if getting closer will somehow change it, as if distance is the problem, as if being nearer gives you some kind of control over what happens next. It doesn't. It never has. The shape grows again, not quickly, never quickly enough to feel like danger, just steadily, undeniably, taking up more of your vision, pushing everything else out until there's nothing left but that rising mass and the thin line of water separating you from it. You know what comes next. You've watched it unfold more than once. The call, the delay, the turn. You've tried to interrupt it before, tried to force it earlier, forced your voice out sooner, louder, sharper, and every time it lands the same way, just a fraction behind where it needs to be. Your jaw tightens. This is the moment. Not the impact, not the chaos that follows. This, right here, where everything still has time to change, and somehow never does. You draw in a breath, deeper this time, your chest expanding as your body commits fully now. No hesitation left, no space for doubt, because even if you already know how this plays out, the instinct to act doesn't go away, it doesn't soften, it doesn't accept the outcome. It pushes harder every time, like this might be the one where it breaks the pattern. Your voice tears free. Iceberg, right ahead. The sound cuts across the air, sharp, sudden, carrying further than you expect, and for a split second it feels different, feels stronger, like it might reach faster this time, like it might land where it needs to, but the moment doesn't shift. It never does. Behind you, movement changes. You hear it now. Urgency replacing routine, footsteps sharper, faster, direction shifting as awareness begins to spread outward from your call, rippling through the deck, moving toward the bridge, toward decision, but it's already unfolding too slowly. You feel it, that same sinking certainty pressing in again, quiet but absolute, settling into your chest as your eyes stay locked forward, watching the distance continue to collapse in a way that no one behind you can see yet, not fully, Not the way you can from here, not the way you always do. The iceberg is no longer a shape. Its presence. It fills the space ahead of you, towering now, its edges cutting into the darkness, its surface catching just enough light to define its mass, its scale, its refusal to be anything other than what it is. Unavoidable. Your grip tightens again, knuckles pressing white against the metal, as your body braces without permission, reacting to something that hasn't happened yet, but is already locked in place, already moving toward you in a line that cannot bend fast enough to matter. You listen, not to the ocean, not to the wind, but to the ship, to the subtle shift beneath your feet, the way the vibration changes almost imperceptibly as orders begin to move through it, as direction starts to alter, as effort is applied, and you recognize it immediately. Too late, not completely, not obviously, but enough, always enough. Your eyes don't leave the iceberg, they never do at this point, because this is where it becomes real, where the distance you were watching turns into proximity you can feel, where the scale of it stops being abstract and starts becoming physical, where your body understands before anything else does that there isn't enough space left to correct it. You lean forward again, just slightly, your breath shallow now, controlled but tight, your entire focus narrowing into the line where ship meets water meets ice, watching for the shift, the angle, the moment where it might, just might, clear. It doesn't. Not cleanly, not fully, and in that thin slice of time, before anything touches, before sound or impact or reaction breaks the surface of what's about to happen, you feel it settle completely. The certainty, the outcome, locked, unchanged, and still, you don't look away. The sound of your call doesn't fade. It moves. You hear it travel, caught, repeated, carried forward through voices that sharpen as they pass it along, each one stripping away the uncertainty, each one tightening the meaning until it reaches the bridge as something solid, something that demands a response. Below you, the ship doesn't stop. It keeps moving. That's what always feels wrong at this point. The fact that nothing immediately changes, that the weight beneath your feet continues forward with the same quiet certainty it had seconds ago, as if momentum itself refuses to acknowledge what's directly ahead. You turn this time. You don't always, but now you do. The bridge is lit, contained, ordered. A space built for control, for decisions made cleanly and carried out without hesitation. You stood close enough before to see their faces. You know how this moment looks from there. The officer nearest the wheel shifts first. Not panic, never panic. Just recognition tightening across his posture, his hands adjusting instinctively, already preparing to act before the command lands, his eyes flicking forward, trying to align what he's hearing with what he can see. But the angle isn't right. Not from there. Not yet. Another step forward. Another voice. The message reaches the captain. You can't hear the exact words from where you stand, but you know the cadence, the shape of it, the brief exchange, the confirmation, the split second where understanding settles in fully and turns into action. You've replayed that moment enough to feel it before it happens. The order comes. It always does. Sharp, immediate. The kind of command that's meant to cut through everything else and take control of the ship in a single movement. And for a fraction of a second, it works. You feel it beneath you. That subtle shift, the change in direction beginning. Not dramatic, not sudden, but real, carried through the structure of the ship like a quiet correction. Something that would be enough, if it had come sooner. Your weight adjusts without thinking, your stance widening just slightly as your body picks up on it, responding to the turn before your mind fully registers it. Behind you, more movement, faster now. The rhythm of the ship has changed, not just forward motion, but intention, urgency threading through it, spreading outward from the bridge into every part of the vessel. But the ocean ahead hasn't changed. The iceberg hasn't changed. It continues to rise in your vision. Larger now, closer, its edges sharper, more defined, its presence impossible to ignore from any angle that matters. You turn back. You always turn back, because this is where the two moments meet, what the ship is doing and what it's too late to avoid. Your hands slide slightly along the rail as you reposition, not gripping as tightly now, but braced, steady, your body aligning with the forward edge of the ship, tracking the angle, watching the line that's forming between steel and ice. You've watched it enough times to know what the turn will do. Not enough, never enough, but just enough to change how it happens. The bow begins to shift away. You can see it now, the angle adjusting, the ship responding, pushing against its own momentum in an attempt to clear the path, to move out of alignment before contact is made. From a distance, it would look like it's working. From here, you can already see where it won't. Your breath stays shallow, controlled, your eyes moving along the length of the iceberg now, not just its front edge, but the part that extends beyond your immediate line of sight, the section that will still be there, even as the bow clears, the part that the ship will carry itself into despite everything being done to avoid it. Behind you, the engine responds. You feel that too, a deeper vibration shifting through the deck, a change in the rhythm that runs under your feet. as power is redirected, as effort increases, as the ship tries to obey faster than physics allows. You felt this exact adjustment before. You know what it means. You know how late it is. The air feels tighter now, colder. Not because anything has changed around you, but because your body has. Every sense narrowing, sharpening, pulling focus toward the one thing that matters, the one point where everything is about to converge. Voices rise again from behind, more urgent now, more direct, orders being repeated, confirmed, pushed outward, each one carrying the same underlying strain, the attempt to close the gap between decision and outcome, to compress time in a way that it refuses to be compressed. You don't move, there's nowhere to move to. This is the position where it becomes clear, where intention runs into limitation, where control reaches its edge. The bow is clearing now. You can see it, that slight crucial shift where the front of the ship begins to pass along the face of the iceberg instead of directly into it, the angle just enough to avoid a head-on collision. For a moment, it almost looks like it's going to work. You feel it, that small, dangerous flicker, the one that always shows up here, the thought that maybe, this time, but you already know where it breaks. Your eyes track along the side, you don't stay with the bow, you follow the length, because that's where the outcome sits, fixed, waiting. The ship continues its turn, the iceberg continues its presence, and the space between them keeps closing, not all at once, not violently, just steadily, inevitably, as two lines that should never meet continue to draw together, because neither can move fast enough to change what's already been set in motion. Your jaw tightens again, not from fear, from recognition. This is the point where it stops being about avoiding it, and starts being about how it happens. Not enough to save it, just enough to change the impact from something sudden into something that stretches, something that drags, something that carries itself along the side of the ship, instead of stopping it outright. You've seen what that does. You've felt the way it unfolds, not in a single moment but across several. Slow enough for people to not understand it immediately, fast enough that it doesn't matter. Behind you, the effort continues. You can feel it in every part of the ship now. The engines, the direction, the coordination, all of it pushing toward a correction that is already slipping past the point where it can fully take effect. You lean forward again, closer now, as if proximity still matters, as if being here seeing it clearly gives you some kind of influence over the final seconds before contact. It doesn't. It never has. The iceberg fills your vision, the ship aligns alongside it, and the last bit of distance disappears. It doesn't stop. That's the first thing that settles in. The ship doesn't halt, doesn't recoil, doesn't give you that single clean moment where everything reacts at once. It keeps moving, forward, into it. The contact isn't a crash, it's a line. A drawn-out, grinding line that begins somewhere just ahead of you and carries itself along the length of the ship with a sound you feel before you fully hear. A deep, dragging pressure that pulls through the metal beneath your hands and up into your arms, steady and relentless, as if the ship is being opened one section at a time. Your grip locks instinctively, both hands now, fingers tightening hard against the rail as your body braces, not for impact, because that never comes the way people expect, but for the continuation of it, for the way it doesn't end immediately, for the way it stretches, second after second, as steel meets ice and refuses to separate. The sound deepens, low, continuous, wrong. It's not loud in the way a collision should be loud. It's heavy, weight pressed against weight, sliding, forcing, tearing in a way that feels controlled and unstoppable at the same time. You feel it shift through your stance, a subtle vibration at first, then stronger, then spreading, traveling down through the structure of the ship, carried along every line of it, touching everything, reaching everywhere. Behind you, voices break. Not all at once, one at a time, sharp, confused, cutting through the routine that had been holding together seconds ago, the tone changing from control to something else, something tighter, more uncertain, as the reality of what's happening begins to move faster than the orders trying to contain it. You don't turn, not yet, because this is where it becomes undeniable. Your eyes stay forward, tracking the edge where the iceberg presses alongside the ship, watching the way the angle holds just enough to keep them together, to keep the contact from breaking cleanly, to carry it further, longer, deeper than it should. You've watched this line before. You know how far it goes, further than anyone behind you understands in this moment. Your jaw tightens as the ship continues to move, continues to drag itself along the ice, each second adding to something that can't be undone, each second widening the damage in a way that no one can see from the surface. Your weight shifts again, adjusting without thought as the movement beneath your feet changes slightly. Not a stop, not even a full correction, just a subtle imbalance, something that shouldn't be there, something your body recognizes even before your mind does. The contact is still happening, still carrying, still pulling, and the distance that should have opened by now doesn't. The iceberg remains beside you, its surface close enough now that you can make out the texture of it, the uneven edges, the cold solidity that feels almost unreal in its scale, its presence pressing against the ship as if it had always been there, as if the ocean had simply revealed it at the wrong moment. Your breath stays controlled, but tighter now, shorter, your chest no longer expanding fully, as your body locks into the reality of it, the certainty settling deeper, heavier with each passing second. You've been here. You know this part. This is where the moment stops being preventable, where it shifts into something that only plays out. Behind you, movement accelerates. Footsteps faster now, less measured. Direction breaking down as more people become aware, as the information spreads unevenly, not clean, not structured, just fragments moving through the ship, as individuals try to understand what they're feeling beneath their feet. The sound continues, unbroken, that same deep, dragging pressure. Your hands tighten again as the ship finally begins to separate, the line of contact thinning, breaking, pulling away from the ice, not with a snap, not with release, but with a slow, reluctant slide, like something being pulled free only after it's already been forced too far. For a moment, it's over. The sound fades, the pressure lifts, the ship clears, and there's a space again between steel and ice. You feel it, that shift, that sudden absence of resistance, the way your body reacts to the release, adjusting, recalibrating, your grip loosening just slightly as the immediate tension falls away. Behind you, voices rise again, sharper now, more focused, orders reforming, control trying to reassert itself over what just happened, to take the moment and contain it, define it, reduce it to something manageable. From here, it almost looks like they've succeeded. The ship is moving clear. The iceberg is behind you. The night returns to something that resembles stillness. You've watched this moment too. You know how it feels, that brief, dangerous calm, the one that lets people believe it's over. Your hands remain on the rail. You don't relax. You don't step back, because you know where the real shift happens. Not here, not at the contact. After. You feel it again beneath your feet. Subtle, so slight it could be missed completely. A difference in balance, in weight, in the way the ship carries itself forward. It's not dramatic, not obvious, but it's there, and once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. Your head turns now, slowly looking back along the length of the ship. Not at the iceberg anymore, not at the place where the contact happened, but at everything beyond it. At the structure, the deck, the lines that should feel steady, aligned, unchanged. They don't. Not quite. The difference is small, almost nothing, but it's enough. Enough for your body to recognize, enough for you to know exactly what it means. The voices behind you haven't caught up to it yet. The orders are still focused on the turn, on the correction, on the immediate moment that has just passed. But this is already moving beyond that. You shift your stance again, feeling the angle, testing it without thinking, your weight adjusting instinctively to something that shouldn't require adjustment at all. Your breathing steadies, not because the tension is gone, but because it's changed. This isn't about stopping it anymore. That moment is over. This is about what's already been set in motion, what's already inside the ship, what no one has seen yet, but will. You look forward again. The ocean is open now, clear, the iceberg receding behind you, its presence no longer pressing against the hull, no longer visible in the way it was seconds ago. From here, it looks like the ship survived it, like it passed, like it worked, and for a moment, the entire world around you holds on to that version of it, that belief. You don't. Your hands stay where they are. Your body remains braced, because you felt it already, that shift, that imbalance, that quiet, irreversible change, and you know exactly what comes next. It takes time for it to reach them. Not the collision. That part is already over. This, the understanding, it doesn't move through the ship the way your call did. That was sharp, immediate, carried. This is slower, heavier. It builds in pieces. You hear it begin behind you. Not panic. Not yet. Just questions. Voices low at first, controlled, trying to hold on to order, trying to make sense of what they felt beneath their feet, what they heard, what just passed along the side of the ship without stopping it. You turn fully now, not toward the iceberg. That part is done. Toward them. Crew moving with purpose, but not urgency yet. Their steps quick but measured, their posture still holding on to the idea that this is something contained, something that can be handled, something that hasn't crossed into real danger. You've seen this moment before, the part where everything still looks intact, where nothing appears broken, where the ship feels the same until it doesn't. A man moves past you, fast enough now to signal change, his shoulder brushing yours as he passes, not looking at you, not seeing you, his focus locked ahead toward the bridge, toward orders, toward answers that haven't caught up to reality yet. You watch his hands as he goes. That's what always stands out here. Not his face, not his voice, his hands. Open at first, controlled, then tightening, fingers curling slightly without him noticing, tension building there before it shows anywhere else. before his expression shifts, before his pace changes. The body knows first. It always does. Another voice rises, sharper this time, closer. A question that doesn't get answered immediately. That delay again. Not long, just enough. You step back from the rail, not far, just enough to feel the deck under you differently, to let your weight settle fully, to confirm what you already know is there. It's subtle, almost nothing, but it's enough. The ship is no longer carrying itself the same way. There's a shift, deep, internal, something moving where it shouldn't, something redistributing beneath layers no one can see from here. Behind you, the rhythm changes again. More footsteps, more voices, faster now, less controlled. The shape of the moment begins to break apart as more people sense it, as the awareness spreads unevenly, not cleanly, not in a straight line, but in fragments, each person reacting to something slightly different, each one trying to understand it on their own timeline. You move along the deck slowly, not rushing. You never rush here. There's nowhere to go that changes anything, but you follow it. The shift, the way it moves through people before it becomes words. A crewman stops near the rail, a few steps ahead. He leans down slightly, one hand gripping the metal, as he looks over the side, trying to see what passed, trying to confirm something visually that can't be understood that way. His other hand presses against the surface beside him, flat, steady. Then, it slides, just slightly. He freezes, not from fear, from recognition, the kind that doesn't need explanation. His hand presses down harder, testing, feeling. You see it in the tension of his fingers, the way they spread, the way they grip, the way his entire posture shifts around that one point of contact, as his body confirms what his mind hasn't said yet. Something is wrong, not ahead, not outside, inside. He straightens slowly, turning his head, looking toward the others, toward the bridge, toward anyone who might already know more than he does. But no one answers him. Not yet, because they're all still catching up to the same realization, each in their own place, each through their own contact with it. The ship continues forward. That's what makes it harder to accept. The movement hasn't stopped. The ocean hasn't changed. The night looks exactly the same as it did before. And yet, everything is different. You stop, mid-step, because this is the point where it locks fully. Not the impact, not the turn. Here, where the first human certainty settles in. You watch the same crewman again, his hand still on the rail, still pressing, but now it tightens. Not testing anymore, holding, as if pressure alone could stop whatever is happening beneath him. His breathing changes. You see it in his shoulders, shorter, tighter, controlled, but breaking. And then he looks up, not at the iceberg, not at the water, at the ship, at everything around him, and you see it land. Fully, completely. The moment where the thought becomes real, where it stops being a question, stops being uncertainty, and becomes something fixed. His grip hardens, fingers locking around the metal, knuckles whitening, a small physical reaction, but it's enough, because it says everything that hasn't been spoken yet. You've seen that exact movement before. Every time, different people, same reaction. The body accepts it first, the mind follows. Behind him, voices rise again, louder now, more urgent, no longer controlled, orders breaking into overlap, direction splintering as information begins to surface faster than it can be organized, faster than it can be contained. You don't move, you don't step in, you don't try to change it. That part is long gone. You just watch, the way it spreads, the way it settles, the way the entire ship begins to shift, not physically, not yet in any obvious way, but in understanding, in awareness, in the quiet realization that something has already happened that cannot be undone. The ocean stays calm, the sky stays dark, the ship keeps moving, and in the middle of all of it, that one detail remains, a hand locked around cold metal, holding tighter for something that's already gone.